Hello, and welcome back to Navigating Possibility. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Adams. If you're listening to this episode and you're thinking, I am just done and I have no idea where to go from here, I want you to know something right away. You're not broken, you're not weak, and you are not the only physician feeling this way. I see and hear comments all the time in physician groups, on coaching calls, in my messages from doctors who are so burned out that they genuinely can't imagine a future that feels tolerable, let alone fulfilling. And the question almost always collapses into one of two dichotomous options. Do I stay or do I go? Things like, I need to quit medicine. Or, what else could I even do besides medicine? And when you're thinking this as a physician, it's terrifying because leaving feels impossible, irresponsible, or identity shattering, or financially terrifying, or all of the above. So today, I want to slow this down. This episode is not about convincing you to leave medicine. It's also not about convincing you to stay. It's about helping you get out of survival mode, a place of chronic stress activation, so you can actually think again and make decisions from intention and strategy instead of desperation. First, let's talk about why everything feels like an all or nothing choice. When you're burned out for a long time, not just tired, but chronically depleted, your nervous system is often stuck in fight, flight, or freeze. That's not a mindset problem, it's a physiology problem. When your body is in chronic stress activation, your creativity shuts down, your problem solving narrows, everything becomes dichotomous. Your brain wants certainty and escape, not nuance. So instead of seeing options, your brain says things to you like, I can't do this anymore. I have to quit. But I can't quit. There's nothing else. And you just ping pong between those thoughts, exhausted and stuck. So the first goal is not deciding what to do next. The first goal is getting you out of chronic stress activation, even for a little while, so you can make decisions from a place of clarity instead of collapse. Step one, you need time off that actually counts. So I'm going to say something that almost always gets pushed back. You need time off, real time off. And yes, you can do this. Not a vacation in the traditional sense where you're planning everything, you're managing all the family logistics, you're packing for everybody, you've got the spreadsheet of the activities that you're going to do, you've got everybody's passports in your purse, you're dealing with travel stress, you're trying to make memories while you're exhausted. I'm talking about time where you do nothing. 1 or 2 days at a minimum, ideally more. You need a retreat. And no, it doesn't have to be someplace fancy, but being physically away from your environment helps your nervous system understand that something's different. Check into a hotel room alone. Pull the blackout curtains. Take naps. Go to bed early. Wake up late. Order room service. Sit by yourself at a restaurant and eat without doom scrolling your phone. Meditate. Use the Calm app or the Headspace app and meditate. There's no doing it wrong. Although when you start, you're going to feel like you're doing it wrong. Your thoughts are going to wander and you're going to feel like, I can't do this meditation thing. I'm messing it up. But you're not. Give yourself grace here. You're new at this. Of course, your mind's going to wander. That's part of the process of meditation, is seeing that your mind is wandering and bringing it back. Journal. Sit and write down your thoughts and get them out of your brain and onto paper so you can look at them. Read a trashy novel for fun. When was the last time you had time to do that? If your brain is already saying, I can't do that, There's no way I can take time off by myself. I want you to pause and notice that. Is that true? Or is it just the story you're telling yourself? Every job has provisions for time off. And if you truly feel like you can't step away for 24 to 48 hours, that's not a personal failure. It's a signal that something in your life needs to change. And we don't ignore signals. Step 2, you need to develop a habit of daily mental unloading. So once you've rested a little bit, the next step is set aside a few minutes every day. 10 to 15 minutes counts, just for you. Take all the swirling thoughts in your head and put them on paper. Not to fix them, not to optimize them, just to get them out of your brain. When thoughts stay trapped in your head, they feel like facts. When they're on paper, you can actually look at them and ask yourself, is this objectively true? Or is this just the story I'm telling myself because I'm exhausted? That's how you start creating space between you and the stress. Step 3, inventory what's actually broken. When you're a little more regulated, set aside 15 to 20 minutes a day for this exercise. I actually have a 30-day book of journal prompts on my website at ChristinaAdamsMD.com that you can download for free to take you through this process. Go check it out and download it. Write down what you like about your job, what you hate about your job. No editing, no judging, just get it out of your head and on paper. Then ask, what things in my life can I delete? What can I outsource at home? What can be reassigned or delegated at work? Which admin tasks am I doing that should not be mine? What committees am I on that I can quit? Could you negotiate a scribe? Reduced administrative duties? Protected non-clinical time? More support staff for the clinic so you're not dealing with prior auths and all the random inbox messages that shouldn't be yours to handle in the first place? Here's something important. Many employers would rather pay for a scribe than lose a physician entirely. It costs $500,000 to $1 million on average to recruit a new physician between lost productivity, recruitment costs, or onboarding costs, ramp up. So most employers would rather pay for a scribe than lose a physician. And if they wouldn't, then that tells you something about where you're working. That's data. Step 4, think about whether you can stay if things change. So this is the next journal exercise. Ask yourself, can I stay where I am if certain things change? Then write about it. And as you do, notice in your body, where do you feel tension? Where do you feel relief? Does anything soften? Your body knows things that the chatter in your brain talks over, but we're not good at listening to that signal. So if you write about it, you have time to process where that sits in your body and listen to the signal. If staying feels possible with conditions, then the next step is to think about negotiating those conditions. This is where it helps to know what's called your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, BATNA. In other words, what would you do if this doesn't work out? If you don't get what you're negotiating for? What's your deal breakers? And what do you do if they say no to your deal breakers? Having an alternative gives you leverage and confidence. And yes, I know this feels confrontational. But going back to the beginning of this podcast, if you're telling yourself, I can't do this anymore, then asking for what you need is not unreasonable. It's a necessity. There is a way to have these conversations without burning bridges. That's something we can absolutely pregame in coaching. Step 5, what if you can't stay? So sometimes the answer is clear. The environment's toxic. You've asked for changes before. They may have even promised you changes before that didn't materialize. You know nothing's going to change. In that case, you don't have to keep breathing in the toxicity. Now we widen the lens. What else is possible? Options might include things like locums work, temporarily, or quite honestly, permanently, as many people have started to do to maintain control over their time. Part-time work for a little while or for good. A different practice setting, out of academics into private practice or vice versa, hospitalist work. Some sort of bridge role while you figure out a long-term plan. Sit down and make old-fashioned pro and con lists for the opportunities that you have. And again, notice what you feel in your body while you're doing this. What feels neutral? What feels relieving? What feels like a reflexive hell no? So I did this recently at a retreat when I was thinking about options for when my non-compete expires later this year. And two options I had been thinking about and ruminating in my head when I sat down to make my pro and con list, I was just like, ugh, no. Just felt it in my body that was a hell no. So I just X'd right through those pro and con lists and moved on to other things. All of this information is data. And we're analytical people, right? We like data. Step 6, if you're leaving, then you make your plan. So if you decide to leave, this is where we get strategic. Hire a contract attorney. You should not sign a physician employment agreement without having it reviewed by a contract attorney. Find your current employment agreement, because any good contract attorney, if you present them with a new contract to review, they're going to ask you for your old one so they can make sure you're exiting on the right terms. Follow their advice, even when it feels uncomfortable. So I'll share this personally. When I left my last job in 2024, originally, I wanted to give 6 months notice. I talked to my contract attorney about it. She said, "What does your contract say?" My contract required 90 days notice. My attorney explained to me very clearly all the ways extending your notice period beyond what's in your contract can go badly for physicians. She'd seen it happen to other physicians working in notice. She advised me not to do that. So, since I was paying a professional a lot of money to advise me, I followed her advice. And as an aside, as a physician, let me ask you this. Does it drive you crazy when patients ignore your medical advice? Exactly. If you're paying a professional, you follow their advice. Your attorney can help you create an exit strategy that follows your current contract terms. They can review your new contract and help you strategize how to negotiate those terms. They can ghostwrite negotiation emails for you. They can help you write a clean, minimal resignation letter. And when you're writing your resignation letter, this is not the time for the airing of grievances like in Festivus from Seinfeld. Professional is better. Simple, done. Step 7 in this process, expect backlash. If you decide to leave, when you turn in your notice, there will be backlash. Expect it. People will be angry. They may say things that'll sting. They may withdraw, just not want to talk to you at all. This is normal. Be prepared for minimal emotional engagement during your notice period. Stay professional. Keep your boundaries. Journal it out privately. And remember, no matter what they say to you, this is a business decision. You are a professional and you are leaving according to the terms of your contract. You are not the villain. Notice periods are usually 90 to 120 days. You survived residency, which was much longer. You can survive this 3 to 4 months. If you take nothing else from this episode, I want you to remember, feeling done doesn't mean you need to make a permanent decision today. In fact, you probably shouldn't. It means your nervous system needs relief. It means you need space. It means you deserve to choose your next step from clarity and intention, not collapse. There is a path forward, even if you can't see it yet. And if you want some help walking through this strategically, compassionately, without blowing up your life, that's exactly the work I do in coaching. I coach women physicians who are burned out and considering career transitions. You don't have to do this alone. You can sign up for a coaching consult call on my website, or honestly, I'll put the link for that in the show notes of this episode. I'd love to connect with you and work with you. That's it for this week. I hope this episode was helpful, and I'll talk to you next week.